Good evening, team. Thank you for tuning in with us where every day is a worthy day because it is a Saturday. The WPL All-Stars versus the New Zealand Natives here at Starfire Sports Complex in Seattle, Washington. My name is Darian Lovelace. I'm joined here by Lance Kavanaugh, founder of Great American Rugby. Lance, super excited to be here yet again with you. We've been talking shop all day just for this moment. What are you most excited about for this matchup between these two sides?
I am excited to see the best talent of the WPL melted down and fused to the absolute golden children to go out and represent the United States against a New Zealand native team that are poised and ready to go.
Both sides have their selections. They're the best of their respective countries. The New Zealand natives, coached by Aroha Savage, and then Hannah Stolba, coaching up the WPL All-Stars. As you can see here, WPL All-Stars had to get together after a well-fought-out season. They're well represented all across the board. But this is going to be a very competitive match. The natives played the Berkeley All Blues recently. Now, the Berkeley All Blues were the runners-up for the WPL final. They were able to come on top 21-17, and they're part of this two-game series where they're going to finish out against the WPL All-Stars. Now, Lance, you've interviewed some of these players. We were able to announce their match with Colorado and the Berkeley All Blues. So if they can bring that style of play, what can we expect to see today?
We can expect wide, expansive rugby. We can expect physical defense. It's going to be tough for an all-star team, quote unquote, a group of players who haven't been working together for a long time to figure it out. But I do understand this. These ladies are playing for a little bit of pride, American pride, and also they're all excited to have the opportunity to represent the best of the WPL. So I expect a hard-fought matchup between two teams who definitely are going to bring it in a way that we probably haven't seen here in a long time.
And we'll take a look at the Starfire complex. No better place to play for these All-Stars as they come to show out exactly what they've worked so hard for throughout the season. Played in a couple of All-Star tournaments through the WPL myself, and it is just unreal to be able to see them progress, to have the ability to broadcast it and get the views that you're going to see with us here tonight. The WPL, founded in 2009, just continues to try and professionalize the league by expanding their games and having the ability to play against the New Zealand natives. New Zealand, one of the most profound women's programs in the world, in the globe. So Lance, it's just absolutely surreal for us to be able to come out here and be able to talk shop about this.
Absolutely. And the atmosphere, as you said, looks amazing. A MLR stadium made for rugby. The show is going to be amazing.
Both teams setting up to go ahead and take the pitch. We see some of the fans who watched some competitive women's matches earlier today. There's one thing about rugby, it's an all-day fiasco. Lance, I think you and I both can advocate for that, along with the crews that we've had working with us today.
The beautiful game continues. We've been at it for a while, but now this is the cherry on top. This is the show that I've been waiting on. Starfire Complex, WPL All-Stars. We're watching these ladies battle it out all year. Berkeley All Blues falling short to the Colorado Grey Wolves. New York Rugby Club making great efforts and strides. Beantown, Boston doing amazing work throughout the season. Those are your top four teams, but we still have players from the litany of teams that are in the WPL, including Chicago North Shore, including the Amazons playing out of Wisconsin. It's so many good teams and good players, and I'm worried whether or not they're going to be able to find that cohesion and battle.
And like I said, Lance, so we have been at this all day. Next Level Rugby, who is going to be bringing this live to you in Seattle, also brought it live to you right outside of Chicago Lance, you and I called this game earlier. This matchup was pretty brutal to watch. Massive point deficit here. Finally, though, teams are set up and they are ready to play. If you look on the left in the red and blue, that's going to be your WPL USA All-Stars. And then to the right in the black, that'll be your New Zealand natives. Meeting up at the 40 on their respective sides. This is something that everybody looks forward to. This is well known throughout the world, the haka, an age-old tradition that all New Zealanders are familiar with performing, but we're all familiar with watching.
This is going to be awesome.
Of this haka, the game now will be able to come underway. Again, we said that your WPL All-Stars are going to be in the red and blue, well represented across the board from their respective home clubs. And then we're going to have the New Zealand natives who are going to be on your right here in the black, representing most likely the Blackthorns, the All Blacks, well-known rugby team. But Lance, final thoughts as we get ready to enter into the first half of this Seattle All-Star Game.
How blessed are we that to cap off a beautiful rugby day, we get to watch an all-star match between some of the best talent that we have here in the United States, WPL All-Stars versus the New Zealand natives, who you gotta respect New Zealand in all rugby facets, and they brought a team here to compete with our ladies. I am so excited, and I'm going to go. Let's get this game going.
And we will be underway here. It looks like that is Jetta Owens. WPL's represented well across it with professional players, and we are now underway. Ball is fielded cleanly, and there's a contest at the ruck. McGrath puts the natives under pressure. Maybe not to move it out the back. They go ahead and try and relieve a little bit by kicking up a high one. Number 14 moves it to McGrath. McGrath takes it right into the defensive line. Lynn is there though to clean it up. Looks like the referee calls it back for a little bit of offsides. Player corrects it though, and Lynn goes ahead and moves it back. McGrath's got it. She's got it into Cruz's hands. Cruz moves it to Sentanuso. Sentanuso is able to go ahead and get down quickly. Kitlinski, she was massive in the WPL final. Looks like we might have a player down here for the natives, but referee says play on. Got a lot of ground to cover here as they try and attack out of this end. They're deep within their half as number 9 tries to look for some options. A big collision happens after a knock on, and it'll go in favor of the WPL Stars. center scrum, about 30 meters outside of the try zone.
We just got a giant clue into what kind of team that our WPL All-Stars will be playing against. Look at the line speed of these ladies. They are actually playing that off-size line pretty fast. They are moving up defensively. They're bringing a ruckus. And that shoulder hit right there after the knock-on shows the level of physicality that we're going to be seeing today.
First scrum of the game is massive, but wondering if that player who went down on the sideline is up. As referee goes ahead and calls for scrum to go ahead and get set.
Crouch. Binds.
You see Lynn with the put in. Then a Berkeley all blue. A little bit of pressure though happening at the front of the scrum. It's Vogel. Ended up dropping the knee, so we'll call for a reset on the scrum, but a little bit of correction there coming in from the sir. Ball is set and ready. Both these scrums look pretty massive.
And the center referee, Khalil, veteran here in the United States, has covered a lot of big games.
Haufuo moves it to Lynn, who then gets it into Owens. Owens is put on her back, though, by a big double tackle, which generates a knock-on. And that'll be a turnover going in favor of the natives.
And that's one thing you don't need. That is somebody that they'll depend on all day around the park. Knock on early on. Hopefully it doesn't shake the confidence. Khalil Harrison, the center judge, is right on top of it. Sees it clearly, but what a massive double tackle. Killed all of her momentum and drove her backwards, unable to keep hold of the ball. We expect Jetta to have a big game today. Let's see if she can fix the issue that caused a knock-on. But the physicality from this Natives team, I think we're going to be dealing with a lot of big booms, a lot of hard charging, and it's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Crouch. Bind.
Set and ready for the put in.
Set.
All goes in. Scrum half is able to have to dig at the base from Motu. Big hit though coming in from the WPL All-Stars. Alfuo. All goes up after it is fielded back in the 22, but it's able to come up in the hands of the natives yet again. That's Brooke. Gain about 15 meters just with that. They continue to rumble through the contact. Quickly over the ball, they get set. Under a lot of pressure here after some flat-footedness, but they work around the corner really well with the fend. Getting over it quickly, though, is Cruz. Almost gets a turnover, but she's unsuccessful. The scrum half moves it to center field. Not gaining much ground after a couple of phases. They look for the kick. He's now up. From center field, it's got to stay in. It does. Finds its way in the hands of Owens. Owens continues to pump her legs, tries to gain herself a little bit of time. The WPL Stars are having to get back. This is Han. Han, captain of the Colorado Grey Wolves, national champion. She takes it in. A little bit of show and go from Dombrowski. That's the number 10, fly half. She finds a little bit of some hinge work. Fortunato moves it in the hands of Cruz. Cruz almost gets it behind the head. Tries to get it back inside, but she's tackled into bounds.
And yet again, face plays from the WPL. Unsuccessful getting around the edge. But this line right here, the determination to get through, shaking off a few defenders, got the entire defense eyes locked in on her. And as they try to move it out wide, unfortunately, the ball just not perfect on the pass. Gio having a tough time with it, getting dragged out of bounds.
Dickinson Para throws that one in into the middle. It finds a middle pot, and now it's right at center field.
Forward.
Ball, though, bounces off one of the natives and ends up in the hands of Kitlinski. Lynn goes ahead and moves it to the left-hand side. Tordonato under a lot of pressure, makes something out of nothing. Gets herself at the line now. Number 5, that's Stanford. Stanford is met by the natives. Pressure defense, Vogel tries to take it into them. He's met heavy up top.
No advantage.
The contest at the breakdown, referee says that there's no advantage gained from the initial knock on by the natives. So we'll have a scrum.
And look at this, size her up and poof!
Scrum.
Clean body, hard charging run. But the natives aren't backing down even a little bit. The line speed is still there. They're still getting up in the face of these WPL players. We're going to see how long that carries on, and it might wear into the WPL All-Stars just a little bit, being caught out, especially when they find themselves flat. If they don't find that depth that they need, the natives are going to bring the action to them the entire game, it looks like.
Binds. Set.
I'm now holding strong for the WPL All-Stars. Afuo, she gets it off of the back, finally gets it into Dombrowski. McGrath throws a little bit of a dummy, but sees a very well-supported defense on that outside. Offsides was almost called. Lynn thought she spotted it, but referee Khalil says to play on. We go ahead now and move it through the hands. Contact looks slightly high, but
Still penalty advantage.
referee still calls for continuation of play. Kitlinski finds a little bit of a gap off of Owens. Lynn now finds Dombrowski. Owens is back over the top. Cruz has got it. Cruz is a dummy. Cruz is almost there. She gets it off an offload. Number 14 cuts back inside. That's Santu Ouso from Beantown. It's the first points on the board for the WPL All-Stars here in Seattle.
And the only way to break a line speed is two hands on the ball, deceptive lines from your outside. Offloads is there, and as the phases build, they're organizing better. But right here is where it happens. Dummy and out the back, brought in a couple defenders. That offload there, and Gio making that 2-on-1 correct and giving her opportunity to cut back, and she finds herself into the try zone. The Beantown representative, 5-0 for the WPL.
Owens will be set for the kickoff. Kickoff goes up. Looks like it veered a little bit to the left, so the flag stayed down, but that'll bring our WPL All-Stars 5-0. No, they were able to get the first points on the board. There's our try scorer, that's Santo Suoso from Beantown, Boston. But Lance, already early on in this match, we're seeing some huge collisions, which is totally to be expected from both sides.
Absolutely. And right now, I'm just so anxious to see how the natives' offensive attack work. They've been deep in their own end. We've yet to see them actually play with a looser approach. So as of right now, it's nice to see WPL able to stand up into the speed defensively of the natives. But now, right now, is a great opportunity for the natives on their side of attacking 50. This is a chance where they can really show how dangerous they are. The first real opportunity. This might get scary for us, but let's see how the WPL defense holds up.
Forward pass called with Sanford trying to get it to Vogel. Right there, we see Vogel just get a little bit caught up in front, but we're seeing the dynamic play happen on early here for the All-Stars just within their forward pods. So honestly, they can only get more creative. The natives now are set for the put-in. Scrum's a little bit under pressure at the front. The number 8's got to kind of bounce off. Motu. Well, those recovered well. They continue now to move it to the right-hand side. It goes back behind the natives player. She cleans it up well with some leg drive and some footwork. Natives now are going to have to work very hard on attack. Ball almost ends up hitting the deck again, but good hands. Puts her in a good position. The All-Stars with eyes up, put on a massive defensive launch. Ball ends up almost going into the hands of the number 27, but it's knocked on after a wayward bounce. We'll go ahead and we'll call it back.
Wow, there was space on the outside. The eyes to be able to see that there was space on the outside. The pass, unfortunately, was a skipper. Didn't get there clean and neatly, but this pass over the head I mean, I believe she was loaded up for maybe a kick through. It seemed like she was flat and wide just to have that space for the kick through. Fortunate pass, didn't make it to hand. Now WPL right around the 50 with attacking opportunity. Scrum down to come.
Lynn gets set for the put-in. Score still 5-0. A little over 10 minutes gone in this first half of the Seattle WPL All-Star Game.
Sit.
Then puts the ball in. Scrum looks stable as McGrath tries to do a little bit of some play there with Tornado, but she looks a little bit isolated here, which is going to lead to a turnover. The number 29 for the Natives is able to generate a massive turnover for them.
Yeah, that was a great push. She was right over the top of the ball, had great positioning. Player on the ground tried to, hold on a little bit and extend and reach and really try to buy some time, but unfortunately her support was not there. Clean steal, and of course, a serve right on top of that is going to call that every time. Natives get the ball out of bounds, and we have a line out just past the 50-meter line. Let's see how this set piece goes with a line out. The scrum had a little trouble early on, the Natives did. 8-man pick, got bounced around, but now you have a set piece where you can dictate how many forwards and how much space is on the outside, or how much space is towards the middle of the field. So let's see how the Natives attack this.
Going up now, they hit the middle pod. They're able to go ahead and go straight off to the attack. Now making their way over the 50. Ever committed on the ruck, so we'll see how they plan that one out. Nice little work of the ball. Getting number 19 over the line. Goldberg tries to go in and counter ruck, but it buys the defense some time to get up into the face. McGrath putting the Natives straight to ground. The number 10 goes ahead and tries to do a chip kick. Looks like it went straight up and then straight out. We'll have a line out. We're about 5 meters away from where she kicked it.
Absolutely. That was a great defensive stand, WPO players. They had pods set up, running straight lines of attack, and right when they get to the outside 15 5-meter channel, they obviously believe in the boot. It's worked out for them earlier. I believe they're going to be kicking more throughout this game.
Lynn now has a little bit of space off of a wayward line out. Lynn is super quick, continues to try and go on. She kicks it through, tries to see if her teammates are going to be able to get there. Taufuo, she's almost over that, but misses. Hitlinski tries to get over it, but she's unsuccessful as well. And now the Natives are off to the attack, but big pressure comes in from the All-Stars. A massive double tackle. Sends them back into this end. They've got a lot of rugby to go ahead and play out of here. Gets set up for a box kick. It ends up getting deflected by the All-Stars. All-Stars fall over top of it. There's a double knock on that ends up happening. Back in this end, a lot of chaos on here early. And so the referee will go ahead and he'll call it back.
That was really strong defensive pressure. But look at this break here. Step off the right foot just to find a space. Sees it. She's greatly outnumbered. Tries to chip it through. And the bounce just wasn't satisfactory. Went back towards the WPL charging line, but the Natives were ready to pounce on it. From there, the defensive pressure mounted. Hit up from the Natives to set themselves up more center of the field. And they go in for the kick, although they was being pushed back, and it was a charge down. And that almost caused an absolute calamity for the Natives. After the charge down, to move it away from where all the pressure is, unfortunately, she couldn't see it in, couldn't bring it in. And the ball, again, bouncing crazily. WPL had an opportunity to score an easy try, capitalizing on the mistake. But the bounce didn't go their way. And now they're trying to figure out signs in the middle to know which play they're going to run to get in on this Native side.
Prime attacking position for the WPL All-Stars. They're right in front of the post, about 5 meters out, and it's a center scrum with options on the right and the left. Their centers are stacked, though, to the right. You see McGrath and Tornado at the bottom of your screen. Scrum looks good. Looks like the All-Stars are taking it and running with it. Taufuo keeps the ball in. Continuing now to keep it in, using some of that lock skill. They drive it over for a possible try. They go ahead and they get that. That is a huge show of dominance within that scrum.
That is a push for an all-star team to come together and find a way to cohesively scrum the way that we just seen. And to force the issue with the natives deep in their own end, trying to relieve pressure. It's an amazing turn of events. But it's still so early. I feel like the wool is being laid over our eyes. This native team has found moments to show that they know what's going on. They need to settle into this game a little bit. The All-Stars seem to be ready to go, stepping up to the challenge, meeting them with physicality. But I think this native team is definitely have more to them. And as this game goes on, we might see another side of this native squad as the WPL go up 12-0 early in the first half.
Owens gets the conversion, so that'll extend their lead 12-0. The WPL All-Stars on top of the New Zealand natives here in Seattle, Washington. The natives now set off for the kick receipt. Ano goes straight up. Taufuo is underneath it. Looks like there was a little bit of a high tackle there, so referee's going to go ahead and blow that one up. Go in favor. We see the sportsmanship, though, early on as the natives player brings them up. And she'll go ahead and kick for touch.
You're on the line.
Kitlinski now set for the throw-in, for the line out. Spafford is up, but doesn't field it as cleanly, so Gilbert's got to go in there and clean it up. Lynn, recognizing that there's a lot of defense coming up into the face, holds it for a second and then gets it to McGrath. Kitlinski uses some footwork, steps back inside. And the All-Stars are over top of it, but a penalty pins them down. And Cruz will go ahead and continue to pump the legs on through. They're now well over the 40. Lynn moving it to McGrath. McGrath moving it to Alfuo. Alfuo gets it over. 22. Building momentum is the WPL All-Stars. Vogel gets it, but the New Zealand natives swarming over top. They're set now on defense as they try and put on the pressure. Owens moves it to Cruz. Cruz tries to find the try scorer, Suso. To Uso, though, not able to build it, so she's got to come across. Owens is met with some heavy contact as well.
Knocked on in the tackle. That's fine. Knocked on in the tackle.
Referee, though, sees a knock-on coming in, though, for the New Zealand natives. So we'll bring it back for a all-star scrum.
And that was an amazing group of play for the All-Stars. And to be able to attack down one side and get the ball all the way across. Somehow Cruz is on both sides of the field at the same time. Gio cruising to both sides of the field. Almost found the link up that scored a try earlier in the day. Unfortunately, tackled down by this native side. Strong tackling I've seen from this native group. Fundamentally sound. They're definitely bringing the physicality. But can the WPL punch it in from just about 8 meters out?
Lynn now set for the put-in. Ufo asks if they can do it again, but it ends up getting back behind her feet. McGrath is there to get it to Dombrowski. Dombrowski, though, tries to buy her team a little bit of time while the natives fold around to the right. McGrath with the quick hands gets it to Owens. Owens with a little chip kick through. The wings are both connected there. The number 11 ends up sliding it in. That looks like a possible try, but we see Johnson come across to converse with the AR.
That was amazing. Jetta with the perfectly weighed grubber. Wow, left foot. Put it perfectly on the spot. All it took was a gathering, grounding for the 5. What a perfectly weighed grubber. You couldn't ask for a better bounce. You couldn't ask for a better chase. And what an amazing try. You see the excitement from these WPL All-Stars. They know that that was magic. Great way to put it together and extending their lead. The WPL All-Stars putting it all the skills on display for us today as they that was so I'm lost for words. What an amazing grubber. What an amazing grubber. Owen, take a bow. And conversion is good. The kicking is on display for the WPL All-Stars. But let's look at this one more time. Perfectly timed, perfectly weighed. What more can you ask for? What a gather, what a grounding. Goodness gracious. We are blessed to see that. That's something I want to see more and more. That's something I want to see every time I watch a rugby game. Perfectly weighed, the skills on display. Yeah.
Number 11, Marara was our try scorer. Taufu has a little bit of time to get it away to Kitlinski. Lynn, though, has to try and clean it up at the back, and that means that Sanford just wants to do a hard straightening up run. She gets some really good meters, though, going in for the WPL All-Stars. Trying to test the offsides. Owens goes ahead and looks for a kick after such a superb chase. Turning around, though, is Ocean. Ocean, though, does a good job of trying to work her way around. She pops off of the ground to the natives who are waiting for the ball. It's Taura. Going ahead now and looking to move it through the hands. They've got some space to the left if they can move it. Cruz tries to come across and make a big hit, but offend. Stops her in her tracks. I'm going to move it through the hands is the number 10. The natives protecting the ball well. Continuing to string together some phases. Slow bodies getting up for the All-Stars. You see a lot of defense having to be played here. They're set up, though, with a full defensive line. Runners come through. A little bit of some isolation. Might lead to Kitlinski almost getting in there. She's unsuccessful. We've got some space to work it out to the right if they can. They go ahead and elect to cut back inside. The fend, it gets it away. The wing now has it in hand. She's going to continue to pummel her way up. The second touch of the ball and an offload from the ground really continues to make this train continue moving for the natives. They're now across the 50. An inside line, though, from the number 8. Gets them closer and closer to the 40. They etch away at the defense. Coming up, though, quickly is the All-Stars. Winning it now. The forwards are over top. They elect to go ahead for the pick and go. Gilbert tries to come across. Misses that tackle, so she needs some help from the All-Stars. Continuing now to play some massive defense. They're now nipping at the ankles. An offsides penalty, though, is drawn against Sanford.
Penalty advantage.
And so now the advantage comes up. Continuing, though, to pick and go is the natives. Trying to make some serious ground here, and they do. They're at the 22. They go behind McGrath, who shot up in the line. They try and offload it on the inside.
That was backward.
Harrison looks like he's about ready to put the arm up, but continues to allow them to play on. Just chipping away slowly at this All-Star side. We're now entering into about 9 phases for them as they continue to press on. Very patient, very methodical. They're maintaining the ball well. The natives still having to stay in the thick of it. They take it right into the heart of the All-Stars. They hold strong here, though, as Owens tries to come up and put on some pressure. She does with Tornado at her heels. Cruz is quick to get over that ball. Almost draws the penalty, but lead support comes in for the natives. The natives now using their fend, doing well in the contact. Get caught for almost not rolling. Harrison says to play on. They've got some room to work it out to the right-hand side, but she's met quickly by McGrath. Flicks it from the back. The number 23 has it now, trying to get around. She almost gets it to the edge.
Knocked on.
And the natives get caught with a knock-on after so many phases of play. And the All-Stars have the ability to play out of this end. Lynn elects for the box kick to relieve some pressure. Gets it behind the defense of the natives. This is coming in from Moara, the try scorer. She goes ahead and moves it back inside. This is a lot of a backwards play for both teams. Shakes and bakes one. Kitlinski looks like she's over top of that one. Ends up getting the ball well. The natives also get into the breakdown, so they've got it now at the 50. This is a long passage of play for both sides. Continuing now on is the natives in their attack. Tiring stuff. But they press on. Han comes in and has to make a really big hit. They've got some space to work it out to the left if they can. They go ahead and elect to use a straightening run, and that's exactly what they needed. Gilbert couldn't make that hit. Over the top of the head, though, of the Natives player. Ends up with the ball going backwards, and now we're right back at where we started. Right at the 50, we see Tornado try and create a gap. Leave something open, though, for the number 23, who gives a fan to Sanford. Takes it right in to the defensive line now. Straightening run. Getting caught a little bit flat-footed. They've got to cut back inside. How Alfu-O has to come in and make that tackle. Using some big barreling runs. They continue to use their leg drive. Massive run up, though, from that number 3. A cut around the hinge of the defense. Gets them even closer. Kitlinski, though, has rights to the ball. Kitlinski is so strong here when she gets going. The turnover is good. So the All-Stars flood in. But a not releasing penalty ends up coming in favor of the Natives. And that was some tiring rugby.
Oh my goodness, I'm out of breath just watching it. That had to be, first of all, started off with 12 phases, back and forth, turnover, another turnover, both teams giving it everything they got. And even in that situation, WPL had the opportunity for the steal, and still somehow these Natives were able to come with the ball, and now they're back on attack.
And attacking the line at pace. They're now almost at the 40. A little bit of lag, though, and disconnect leads to a turnover and ball. And now the All-Stars have the ability to attack out. And it looks like somebody's at the bottom of that ruck. The Natives are trying to win this ball back, but Taufuo. I'm going to get this name by the end of it. I'm so sorry, Allie. Vogel now has it. Vogel's at the line. Looks like she took out one of the Natives players. She's slow to get up. Cruz trying to cruise around at this sideline. Morara does well. Moving now back on the inside. Han tries to find a connection with Tau Alfu-O. Vogel finally connects with Tornado. Dombrowski moves it to Kitlinski, who then moves it to a Natives player.
Nice and clear.
You'll see the Natives now on the attack. Ball goes behind the defensive line, the attacking line, so kicker has no choice but to kick it straight up. I'm gonna go ahead and see our early try scorer, that's Santono Suso. Gets it right into the Natives. There's a player in there, though, attempting to fight for the ball. Slows it down just enough that Lynn has to go in and dig it out. Vogel moves it to behind the back. Tornado takes it in, tries to get it to McGrath, who gets stuck behind the Natives player. Luckily, we see the cleanup crew come across, and she's able to get her hands on the ball. Lynn now looking to kind of slow it down. Owens has the ball in hand, moves it to Kitlinski. They shut it down well, so Kitlinski tries to move it to Sanford. Sanford dishes one fin, spins back inside. Gilbert's a little bit slow to get there.
7 offside. Good steal.
But unfortunately, looks like she didn't have rights to the ball, so the Natives get a penalty, and the All-Stars will look to the boot of Owens.
I mean, listen, we're talking about some of the best play that I've seen in a WPL situation since maybe the championship game of yesteryear. I mean, both teams are roaring to go, and right here we have what Harrison called the offsides. As I said, this Natives team has been creeping up, playing aggressive line speed, trying to shut them down before they can get around the corners. And they're going to get pinged for it eventually, playing so aggressive. But this Native team is here to play.
Barb tries to go up, and it disrupts the back of the line out, so the Natives have a little bit of time to work their way over.
Black ball.
Now trying to move it to the left. The Natives now are having to cut back inside. Continuing now to pump her legs, though, waits for the support, but Gilbert with a massive leg driving tackle Ends up knocking her back. It's unfortunate though. Allie Gilberg, who gives so much to the WPL. She's always the woman with the plan. Ball will go straight out into touch. So now the natives will have the opportunity to attack out.
So much ball in hand, so much active play. This is everything you would ask for from a rugby game. Back and forth battle, two physical teams. We're seeing the natives come alive as the game carries on. Is one of the things that I felt was going to happen, and slowly but surely they're showing exactly what they're made of. They're showing their colors. Turnover, WPL.
Lynn now has to get it off of that line out, and now Han will go ahead and move it to Santoso, who's met with a big crunching tackle coming in from the natives. A disconnect tries to get them the turnover, but they're unsuccessful. Continuing to press on, though, is McGrath with a big straightening run. She finds it a little bit of real estate there. Cruz now has it in the hands on the edge.
Don't do that. Put it. Reaching over the top.
Lynn now goes ahead and continues to play it on. Looks like a little bit of miscommunication at the breakdown. Harrison calls it off. Fortunato now has it. She moves it to Gilberg. Gilberg tries to get it to McGrath. And it's bobbled. A knock-on happens with Owens.
Scrum advantage.
So now they're going to go ahead and head off for the attack. We're playing a lot of rugby here around the 50. Vogel gets her hands in there. See referee Harrison trying to communicate there and a not releasing penalty. They like to go quick. Continuing to press on.
Playing at this speed and tempo, it works into the advantage of the natives, allows them to play and put this defense on real pressure. And that's when they've been finding their breaks, when they play with speed, when they get the offloads off, forcing penalties, as we can see right here. This is the element of the New Zealand natives' style of play. And the more they lean more into this, I see points being added to the board in this game become highly competitive as it goes on.
34 minutes gone in this first half, and Holly just chipping away at the attack. Ball does not find touch, though, so Owens has to go ahead and kick up one for herself. She gets caught off balance, though. Santoso gets in there. She's going to go ahead and continue to pump her legs. She scored a try once before. Can she score another? Gives it back into McGrath. McGrath has the ability to finish. The PR7's athlete gets it over for a try, and she'll continue to extend the lead for the WPL All-Stars. That was a massive defensive play for both players.
Absolutely. The referee is holding players back on the kick to make sure they're on sides. They find themselves on sides, and the winger shutting the door as they try to pass the ball to the open space. Interception, and finds the inside pass to Jade, who has the legs to finish. Look at this. Pick five, to the house. And in the foot race, she has the space to get it back inside. Frantically gets it there, and Jade, as you said, PR7's athlete, 7's national champion, 2-time and MVP, showing that 7 speed. An MVP which she won on this exact field, actually, and now showing more success on that same field. Jade scoring a try, getting the WPL and extending their lead.
(22-0) with the kick to come from Owens. Sets up and gets ready to kick from this far right. Ball goes up. Ball goes a little bit to the left, so that's going to still keep our score 22-0. With about 5 minutes left to go, the natives are really going to have to try their best to string things together and not make wayward passes such as this. Santoso, she's so quick over that ball, and then McGrath just does a beautiful job of staying on the inside, maintaining that patience, letting the play develop. And we see what it means whenever you finally connect with your buddy. Everybody's down there for some hugs after a huge defensive play. That intercept was massive.
And that takes air out of the native sail, who had a lot of positive momentum, had been playing on the front foot for at least the last 10-15 minutes. But to give up points that way, so explosive and sudden, that can really hurt your chances moving forward.
Now the WPL All-Stars will have possession of this as Owens goes ahead and boots up one straight into the air. The number 27 does well to field it cleanly, puts Ocean under a lot of pressure, so she gets the ball back. And they're running backwards, though, while the number 10 gets set up for a kick. She comes across and gets it into the hands of Moara. Moara ducks underneath one. She skirts around the other one, finds a little bit of a hinge, dishes one fen, dishes another, tries to find an offload, but she doesn't need it. Continuing, though, to press on is Lynn. Moves it to Kitlinski, but unfortunately it looks like a diving over penalty. Harrison calls it back.
That was a great play. The duck under move, right foot step to get around, squeezing through defenders, showing speed. The try earlier was enough to show that she has it in her to be a fantastic player. But now, keeping the ball in bounds, this is twice now. She's showing up everywhere.
Owens moves it to McGrath, who moves it to Tordonato, who moves it to Cruz, who then moves it to Santosuso. Santosuso tries to give it back inside. It's a knocked, though, because of a player getting into the passing range. Big break coming in from Ocean, where Owens has to bring her down right at the 40. The Natives now have possession of this ball, and they've got some room to work with if they can find the space. Electing, though, to take it right into the guts of Kitlinski is the number 8. That's Taura. Pressing on, though, with the leg drive and the latch. And continuing on. This is massive connection between the two. Still taking people with her. She's finally brought down. They now have some space to move it to the right if they can. They do. Finding some self-display, but Moara, she gets them go forward by an intercept pass. It looks promising from them. Uses a little bit of footwork. There's a chase down coming from the number 29, but it doesn't matter. That's 2 intercept passes now for the WPL All-Stars. This defense is playing some incredible rugby.
This lady is raising her hand to say, I am the MVP of the All-Stars. Play after play after play we have seen from her. Outnumbered surely, 5-on-1, and she decides I can play soft or I can risk it and jump the pass. And as soon as she had her hands on the ball, it was a foot race. She's looking for the try line. She's focused on the try line, seeing defenders behind her, trying to weave, trying to move, has enough legs to get all the way down. And this is just a continuation from a game right now that is A+ from her. Beantown have a star on their hands because she is balling out of control right now.
Yeah, we see 2 Beantown players there. Moara next to her buddy, Taufo'o. Owens goes ahead and boots it up. He's also from the East Coast as well. Kick looks short. We've got about less than a minute to go in this All-Star game. The WPL All-Stars, though, are on top 27-0. And it's because of the defensive pressure that both of the wings have shown. Right here, Marara turns around to try and recognize where her defense is. Keeps an eye on them the whole time. Does a little bit of some weaves. Rounds the corner. And is almost making the face of catch me if you can. Fortunately, they cannot, and you can see the exhaustion after that massive run and chase down.
Truth being told, this game is extremely closer than 27-0. I can tell you this right now. This game is highly more competitive than 27-0.
Gilberg tosses Alfo'o into the air. Lynn goes ahead and looks for a box kick. It's right near the sideline. So McGrath comes across and tries to make a really big hit on the number 8. She does well, though, to keep the body high. Buy her team some time as they have to come back and regroup. So now the Natives are off to the attack. Players still stationed on the right and to the left, trying to figure out where they want to go. They like to move it back to the right. Big ball carriers, but it's knocked on. The All-Stars are trying to get over top of it. They do. Then referee calls them for diving yet again. Now play will come back underway. Ball ends up going backwards. Cruz is over it. Cruz tries to slide it back. to another All-Star, but that'll go ahead and end our first half. WPL All-Stars ending up on top 27 against the New Zealand native 0. Lance, final thoughts of this first half?
Both teams are highly competitive. Both teams are bringing the noise. The mistakes at the back end of these long face play that New Zealand has been hurting them, and 2 intercept tries really hurt them. But this game is way closer than the score would indicate. 27-0. If you showed me this game without the tries and just open play, I would not believe this is 27-0. Both teams bringing it. But this scrum right here and the skills from the 8 to keep the ball into the scrum and score, that is leading the charge right now. Kicks like this one was the most perfect bounce that you can ask for. Most perfect. I don't think those words go together, but right now they do. The most perfect. And this interception right here, this is how you break a team's back. Couldn't bring her down immediately. Broke through 2 tackles. Finds the offload. And Jade, being reminded of her MVP moments at this stadium, goes in to score. I mean, what an amazing half of rugby, Darian.
And we still have a whole half yet to come. Stay with us, team.
Why rugby? It's more than a game. It's our strength,
our family,
our happiness, our freedom.
Wanna shake the ground, wanna break away, let loose. I'm tired of waiting, gotta make that move.
Rugby gives us opportunities we never could have dreamed of.
Given us an education. It's taken us all over the world.
Some call us crazy,
we just love the game. And the women who play it.
Through your sacrifice and dedication,
Rugby in America is now one of the best in the world.
And we ain't got nothing, gotta do something, get it right. Gonna keep on running, grab the fun and live it light. And tomorrow's far away, should I let the party fade? And we ain't got nothing, gotta do something, let us on tonight.
The game is growing. The time to raise the standard is now.
For us.
For them. Together we can make a change in rugby.
We are driven to raise the standard
through direct funding and support,
Focusing on the USA Sevens team.
but including all women's rugby.
Women for Rugby is a non-profit organization empowering women's rugby players at all levels. Today is the day.
No more waiting.
Ruck inequalities.
Together we raise the standard. Be the change. Join us. Become a member.
Women for Rugby.
Ain't got nothing, gotta do something, get it right. Gonna keep on running, grab the fun and live it light. And tomorrow's far away, should I let the party fade? And we ain't got nothing, gotta do something, let us on tonight.
Hey, we brought that second half intensity all day. Let's bring it now, right? They're not expecting same thing, that little bit of slow start in the beginning. We're gonna move on, we're gonna play good rugby, we're gonna bring it to them, right? Yeah. Same thing as we're saying in attack. Patient with our minds, we're fucking active with our feet, right? We're attacking them. We're coming at them aggressively.
Why rugby? It's more than a game.
It's our strength,
Our family,
our happiness,
our freedom.
Wanna shake that ground, wanna break away, let loose. I'm tired of waiting, gotta make that move.
Rugby gives us opportunities we never could have dreamed of.
Given us an education. It's taken us all over the world.
Some call us crazy, we just love the game. And the women who play it.
Through your sacrifice and dedication,
Rugby in America is now one of the best in the world.
And we ain't got nothing, gotta do something, get it right. Gonna keep on running, grab the fun and live it light. And tomorrow's far away, shouldn't let the party fade. And we ain't got nothing, gotta do something, let us on tonight.
The game is growing. The time to raise the standard is now.
For us.
For them,
Together we can make a change in rugby.
we are driven to raise the standard,
through direct funding and support,
focusing on the USA Sevens team.
But including all
women's rugby.
Women for Rugby is a non-profit organization empowering women's rugby players at all levels. Today is the day.
No more waiting. Ruck inequalities.
Together we raise the standard. Be the change. Join us. Become a member. Women for Rugby.
Ain't got nothing, gotta do something, get it right. Gonna keep on running, grab the fun and live it light. And tomorrow's far away, should I let the party fade? And we ain't got nothing, gotta do something, let us on tonight.
Hey, we brought that second half intensity all day. Let's bring it now, right? They're not expecting. Same thing, that little bit of slow start in the beginning. We're gonna move on. We're gonna play good rugby. We're gonna bring it to them, right? Yeah. Same thing as we're staying in attack. Patient with our minds, but fucking active with our feet, right? We're attacking them. We're coming at them aggressively.
Good evening, team, and welcome back for the second half of the Seattle All-Star Game, where we've got the WPL All-Stars versus the Natives. Next Level Rugby bringing it to you by bringing the power to the players. So right here, I am Darian Lovelace, joined here by Lance Kavanaugh. Lance, talk us through this first half of the matchup, because it was something to be talked about.
Absolutely. We got high flying, high speed, high physicality. The native team not able to crack the scoreboard, but they definitely shown that they deserve to be on the field. The scoreboard might be a little lopsided, but they are playing furiously, and they've put together phases to show that they can make things happen. I want to see what they bring in this second half, but this WPL All-Star team have been playing at breakneck speed, scoring tries in every kind of way. Let's see what they got for this second half.
Looks like we had some substitutes roll in for the WPL All-Stars. Jed Hayward, the number 17, set up for the throw-in. We saw Sienna Jordan get set up for that kick, almost turnover. And then the number 24 at the front. Unfortunately, we don't have that number, but she's in as well. So a lot of the substitutes are really rolling deep.
And let's see what effect that has on the game, right? bringing in new players, a whole new vibe, players who have to actually get adjusted and acclimated to a game. And when you bring in a group of them, 3, 4, or 5, it can really change the swing of a team and their approach going into different phases of the game.
Only a few minutes into this second half, but the WPL ran up a massive scoreboard, 27-0 against the Natives. We'll see what the halftime conversation ended up entailing. Set now for the scrum. Harrison blows it up after it looks like the number 24 lost footing over on that side. Another replacement, number 18, Chloe Jacks. She's also a WPL national champion with the Colorado Grey Wolves.
Crouch. Yeah, you're right. Apologize.
If you
Harrison
take
blows
into
it back
account
up.
you take into account these substitutions, no lead is safe. If one team can score 27 points in the half, another team definitely can too. So I expect to see the Natives putting points on the board and really showing how dangerous they've been in phases during the first half of this game.
Crouch. Pink looks bad.
Natives now have a lot of ground to cover, but we saw them have the ability to string together a lot of phases. So we'll see if that's something that they need to do. But the All-Stars putting on a massive scrum, almost stand them straight up, but they field it well. A good straight up run gains them a little bit more real estate. They like to go to this right-hand side. Hayward is up in the face along with the finisher, number 24. Gets hands on the ball and generates a turnover. But it looks like it was knocked on and trying to contest for the ball. So it'll be a scrum almost in the exact same place that we just scrummed down, going in favor for the Natives.
Absolutely. And yet again, the attack is going to be there, whether or not they can put it together. But this WPL team is playing really tough around these breakdowns, really, really locking in, making sure that you're going to go into a tackle, you have to protect the ball. They're trying to poach everything. Unfortunately, just a knock right there. It looks like WPL had their hands on the ball, knocked it on just a little bit. Natives opportunity to attack.
Team's now set for the scrum. Harrison calling for the ball to be put in, and the All-Stars continue to put on the pressure. Ball rolls out of the back of the 8-man. And so then she likes to go ahead and go for the kick, the number 9 scrum half. It'll get called back.
Stop kicking the ball!
As ball went straight out to touch. And so the
Yeah,
WPL
just the way we
All-Stars,
kick.
Hayward. Hayward now set for the throw in. She tries to find Spafford, but Spafford is unable to get up in the air. So it's very messy at the breakdown. But then the number 24, one of the finishers, she comes in and gets some good go forward for them as McGrath moves it to an awaiting forward pod. They take it straight into the guts of the Natives. They put themselves under a lot of pressure, though, by ball going in between Owen's legs. Santos Suso, she's having to clean that ball up after she scored the first try of this match. Natives now quickly trying to get into that space. It looks like there might be a not releasing penalty. She holds her weight well. And that's a massive call coming in for the Natives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It looks as though she was able to keep her footing, keep hands on the ball, display to the referee. She was trying to pull it out, not releasing. And it looks like we might be getting a little bit of weather. Seattle's been known to rain, known to be poury. And let's see how this little bit of drizzle as of right now can affect the game. Hands are on the ball. No, that looks clean. I guess it was the next phase, but she definitely had her hands on the ball, definitely had her positioning right. And now Natives have an opportunity. Referee is getting in the middle of the line out. Referee says this line out defense is top tier. He stops the line out just to reestablish the mark. Excuse me, guys, as he says to the team as he moves and clears out the way. Natives line out.
Harrison looked like he was still setting the mark or trying to figure out if it was actually raining. The natives now walk into the line out, try and use some diversion, and they go ahead and hit it up in the front, but almost tossed to the sideline. How she stays in, we'll never know. So the pick and goes are having to come in, but that's whenever they're finally tossed out. Alpha O. It's in a massive hit. And Harrison is calling it back for a line out, and Hayward will now have the opportunity to throw it in. Hayward finds Spafford, who gets up in the air.
Not straight.
It looks like
Scrum or line out.
the ball was ended up not straight. So now Harrison gives them the option. They'll go ahead and they'll scrum down against the All-Stars.
Send them in. Flankers are being subbed. Flankers are being subbed.
Some substitutes are rolling in for the All-Stars. It looks like Cruz and Hand now are strolling off. So we'll see who the replacements are around that scrum. 29-0, and we're less than 10 minutes gone in the second half. Looks like that's Tong coming in to replace Han as the strong flanker.
Go.
Ball is put in, and it forces the natives under a lot of pressure. They look to go to the left, but Harrison calls it back for a
Tight head driving up.
penalty in the front row.
You had your penalty.
So now they'll look to go ahead and kick it out of bounds for a line out.
Almost kept in. He called a boring in from the front row. Let's see how it works. Drive isn't centered. This looks like they're moving. Yeah, but on the right side, yep. Yep, on the right-hand side, you can see that the tight head went right up. It was obvious for the ref. And usually those scrum calls are a little less obvious, harder to determine who did what, when, and where, but Harrison makes the call, we stand with it. And the natives are charging for it.
Natives try and pick and go. Ball ends up getting bobbled there, though, but a high tackle called by Harrison. Referee goes ahead and he sets the mark. They'll look now to set up some pods. Trying to take it in right into the guts of the All-Star team. There's about 4 defenders over top of that. A bunch of bodies having to roll out of the way as they've been successful with those pick and goes. Trying to be a little bit cheeky there. Now they've got to continue to chip away. Hayward comes up off of the line quickly and stops that ball right in its tracks. They're getting driven backwards. Ball is still live. It's not at the try zone yet. Looking for some space. She dives at ankles yet again. Met very heavily, though. An All-Star getting pinned underneath. That's some red. Harrison sends out the arms to the right-hand side. They're trying to muscle their way over. Did they bully their way in for a try? It's held up, but Harrison is going to go ahead and bring it back for the infraction.
24.
Filling it down here. They're at the 5 now. The number 10 elects to go ahead and tap it into a forward. Going ahead now and pummeling her way through. Looks like she might have gotten caught at the bottom. Now the All-Stars are trying to find some space, but they give a little bit too much. And the natives now get their first try of the match. 5-29 for the natives.
And this is what I was saying with the new flock and a new group of WPL players coming in. Do they have that same level of continuity? We don't know if the natives were saving their best for last and have some of their better, more experienced players waiting in the second half. But here they are deep in the end of the WPL, frantically trying to stay low, chop tackling, but unfortunately, the pick and goes are too much, and the natives creep in to get on the scoreboard. I said it before, if one team can score a bunch of points in one half, the other team can definitely do the same. 5 points to knock into that score. They're now down 24 points with an opportunity to cut it even more with the conversion. But we have a player down in the spot that the try was scored.
Looks like that was number 19, Tiaho. Slightly alarming. It looks like whenever she rolled over, she was kind of gripping at her neck a little bit. So we see our medical team out there checking and making sure that we're looking okay. Kick is set to come for the natives here on the far left side. Boot goes up. Looks like it might be a little bit short, so the flags don't go up. Our score still now 5-29.
We'll see if she makes it before they're ready.
Looks like the medical team is still working on that natives player, but we'll take a look here. Harrison calls it as he sees it, which is a try after the low dive, but looks like they're still checking out on that player. Harrison calls for a pause. Time is off.
Time is off.
Lance, the natives finally having the ability now to show out what they're capable of once they get going. What do you think was working well for them in that last couple phases of play?
But I have the time.
The same thing that worked well for them in certain spurts in the first half.
Probably should.
Bit of continuity, capitalizing on the mistakes of WPL players, giving a bunch of penalties. Let's take a chance to look back at the first half. But WPL were scoring almost at will, but well earned. Ball over the top, Gio sticking the winger and finding an offload and one inside step later, and that is the first try. This try right here is one of the more skillful tries. 8-man keeping the ball inside of the scrum, and the scrum being overly powerful. Nothing the natives can do. Adding another 5. This right here might be the try of the game so far. This grubber perfectly weighted, perfectly laid out. Could have been seen as one of the best tries, and this one as well. A down 1-on-5, a possibility for the natives to get around the corner and score, but an intercept try. Amazing WPL tries, but now natives score 5, and we're here for the kickoff.
Harrison now calls for the game to be back on as we enter into 12 minutes gone in the second half. Ball goes to the left-hand side after the kick is fielded well. We're seeing a massive contest happening at the breakdown, which leads to a turnover for the WPL All-Stars, and they're off to the races. The number 22, Claire, tries to wing it over the top, leads to it going into a set of hands that wasn't ready. Spafford ends up knocking it on, and Harrison will give the knock-on to the natives.
An opportunity, WPL, the ball rolling to them, attack, 2 hands on the ball, but that pass is a little wayward. Unfortunately, a great opportunity. Didn't go to hand, and now natives again scrum down to come.
Crouch. Bind. Sit.
Sponsors like Can-Am Rugby, we want to give a massive shout out to making this whole debacle possible. It really shows what these players are capable of, and they deserve to be on the big screen. So big shout out to them for giving us a platform to do this. The All-Stars, though, finally field it. It looks like a possible knock on. Harrison will blow it up. Another one to give a big shout out to is the Chicago Hounds Rugby. They've worked tirelessly to try and help us bring awareness to these players. Flyhouse, Jessica Dombrowski is one of the operations managers for the Chicago Hounds Rugby. And it's because of those connections that we make that end up getting these matches underway.
All right, time back on.
And we love all of the good coverage that we're getting today by none other than Next Level Rugby. Lance is also the CEO of Great American Rugby, so shout out to that organization as well. We're going to go ahead and see the natives try and stand up the All-Stars here in the scrum, but they're unsuccessful. And a pass goes, though, to the back of the 23 Ocean. She's brought down quickly, though, by the WPL All-Stars swarming over top. Ball ends up coming over the top of the head of Spafford. McGrath up with it in hand. So they'll go ahead and they'll go off to the races together. Clyer gets it out wide to the left-hand side. It finds its way into the hands of Sanford. Sanford, though, is a little bit disconnected, so the natives are over top of it. And then the All-Stars, Jax, she tries to work her way in there. Things get a little bit messy and chaotic, so Harrison, looks like he was communicating in that breakdown. The sir calls for somebody to stop committing a penalty because it's not heated. Now the natives will go ahead and they'll kick for touch, and that'll find its way out right at the 40. You just see here Claire, she's calling for players to go in and try and win it. Jex tries to go back in and win the ball. Let it all be in vain.
Okay.
Natives now set for the throw-in. Ball goes up and hits the middle pod. It's brought down, and then they go ahead and try and find some hands. Goes almost behind the shoulder, but she does well to try and field it. Shows a clear release and continues to drive on. Getting a couple of well-earned meters for her team. Tong tries to shut down the option for the natives. Causes a little bit of disconnect, so both teams are finding a lot of real estate in that breakdown. Ball touches the hands of the number 18, which then finds itself into the hands of the number 2. Continuing now to put on a lot of pressure. They're playing a lot of rugby here at the line of the 40. Finally tackled to ground, though, as they continue to pass it around. A kick ends up coming, which finds its way back into the hands of the number 11 for the natives. They're now at the other end of the 40 and are able to secure their own ball. Trying to use the pick and go to keep momentum going. It looks like they're standing straight up, and a maul might have ensued here in the middle of the pitch. They field it to ground quickly. Using the pick and go now. This leg drive and this latch is massive for them as they continue to press on. Hayward tries to turn into a menace into that breakdown, putting them under a lot of pressure. Ball now is still making its way down the pitch in favor of the natives. They elect now to go ahead to the right-hand side for a pick and go. The defense is set and ready to get low and get underneath. They drive back, the natives now. Continuing yet again with the pick and go. Hayward pushes them back. Hayward is standing them straight up. No Maldo is called. It's a tackle. We've got to get out of there.
Thank you.
Using now a little bit of a chip kick through. The speed is on, and so is the chase. She passes it back to herself, cuts back in. That's Dombrowski. We shouted you out earlier, but well done here. Unfortunately, though, it looks like they're a little bit late to get there, the WPL All-Stars. So the natives get yet another penalty. That's 3 penalties in a row now against the All-Stars.
Did you see that reaction to the natives getting that penalty? They are charged up and ready to go. It's clear that this game means something to them, and they are actually trying to get back into this game and take it over when the opportunity presents itself.
Go ahead and use the tap off that penalty and find their big runners coming in. Now they're going to go ahead and use the pick and go, but the All-Stars are learning now to stand them straight up. Again, another infringement, though, coming in for the All-Stars. Harrison
Can I borrow you?
looking to try and communicate with the captain. It looks like the rain is really coming down.
I know
So
she's aggressive, really good at the poach, but
Coco
she has to be more disciplined.
will have a
She has to step
conversation with
offside.
Harrison.
Offside, 24.
That everybody's satisfied with the rules. Harrison will go ahead and duck underneath. The sir almost got caught, but the natives still stay in the thick of this game. The number 29 dishes one back inside and then continues to pump her legs through. They're about 2 meters outside of this try zone, so this is pretty big for the natives. They're at 29-5.
Good
About
shoot.
20 minutes left to go in this second half. Go forward as they do. They finally make it into the try zone. That's the number 6. We'll try and get a name for you, but that's pretty big for the natives, and you can see what it means to them.
The reactions to everything they're doing says that they are locked in, ready to go. A 29-point lead is now dwindled down to 19 points. They seem to found their stride. The rain might not be helping either team, but for some reason that rain has cleansed all the sins of the first half, and now this native team is roaring, ready to go on the front foot. Smart play to peel off to peel off and take the ball. Everyone's concentrated on the ball carrier, rips it away, gets a drive and a step through, and now the WPL find themselves having a less comfortable lead than they had before, and the natives going in the kick to cut the lead down from 19 to 17. Straight dead ahead center sticks.
And that was the number 6, Samaria. She's the captain of the side. As we get set for the conversion to come. This center sticks, so this should be a pretty easy kick, but it is raining, so we'll see how this plays out. First motion is underway. Ball goes up and straight through the sticks. Flags go up, so that'll bring our score 29 to 12 with the All-Stars still leading. But look at that rain. Seattle, thanks for showing America who you truly are. We all have known it from the jump. But now the All-Stars are going to have to learn how to consolidate their game. It's now 29 to 12. We'll get what the time is for you. About 61 minutes gone in this match, which means we've got 20 minutes left. And that's a lot of time for teams to come back and change the momentum. This last 20 minutes is going to mean everything to both sides. The natives are able to field it cleanly. And they're going to go ahead and continue to press on. Now, if they can maintain possession, they can string together many phases. You see them get set for a kick. They move it to their fly half, who goes ahead and gives a boot of her own. She puts Jordan under a lot of pressure, and Jordan knocks it on. And with the rain, nobody can blame her for that. That's not what Jordan wanted to give to her team here early on.
Absolutely. Jordan, the feature for the Chicago North Shore team, has been in a crazy amount of work lately, stepping up her game. Right now, the rain is her enemy. And the ball gets kicked high up, and unfortunately, she couldn't bring it in. Natives, again, with a scrum, making fewer and fewer mistakes and bringing the noise to this WPL All-Star side. Look at that rain. Look at the weather.
I bet that it's very warm there, too, for the players to play in as well. Prime rugby conditions here under the lights. Scrum now goes underway. Not as much pressure coming in from the All-Stars, so the natives are able to go ahead and field it well. A nice cut back inside gets them some go forward, and she's got the support, so they'll maintain possession here. A little bit of a show and go and a dummy back inside forces McGrath to have to come across and make the tackle, but both McGrath and Spafford are thrown to ground with massive fence coming in for the natives, but Kaufo'o, she saves that momentum by getting hands over the ball. Looks like ball ended up at her back after that turnover, so McGrath goes ahead and gives a good attacking position. Claire goes in to dig it out and gets it to Hayward. Hayward continues to pump the legs there at the 50, center field. Here moves it back to the right, the number 21, Schweitzer picks it up, gets it over the head of the 23, Ocean. She goes ahead and she wraps around, though, dishes one Fenn, dishes another one. Hayward can't make the tackle. A big hit, though, coming in. No foul play is called.
Bigger release.
Looks like foul play will now be called
Bigger release.
for a no-wrap tackle. Looks like she might have just used the shoulder on that one.
Not releasing on the tackle, look like maybe. Let's see if the sir got the call right. Grab. It's a clear established release. I don't know.
You don't see the other hand. I think the other hand stays.
Other hand still on her?
Yeah. Got to release both hands.
Could have fooled me. I'm glad I'm not a sir down on the field having to make that call, right?
In the rain, too. Well done, referee Harrison. The natives, though, will go ahead and get set up. They've ended up here time and time again, but one thing that can be said about their passages of play is that once they keep the ball in hand, they'll continue to etch away and build momentum. So the All-Stars are going to look for any way to disrupt that. We'll see them make some attempts at the breakdown. So we'll see who ends up on top. Massive pressure, though, comes in, which leads to the ball hitting the deck. Looks like the ball does not go forward, and Tornado has her hands on that against the Natives player. It's a contest, though, at the ground. Tornado's got to get out of there. But the ball gets out before Harrison can call it. And so the Natives now see what they can come up with. A box kick, though, at the back of the ruck ends up to a massive chase coming in. Schweitzer goes to the boot. There's some time, though, for them to get under it. And the forwards are stuck in the middle as they are set back on sides. The Natives now got themselves a little bit of ground, and they're right outside of the 50. Cutting back in, the number 8, she makes some big go-forward meters, continuing now to pump her legs. Taupa'o tries to come across and make that hit. Spafford has to help her. Harrison calling for the All-Stars to back up. This year's big booming runs coming in from them. The Natives now elect to go ahead for the pick and go. Hong gets low. Makes it hard for them to build that momentum. Looking now to go ahead and attack it wide. They've got space to move it. Looks like the ball might have gotten knocked on with massive pressure coming in from Jordan. Harrison holds out his arm to the left, and so we'll have a scrum going for the All-Stars.
We see the weather really affecting this game. Slowly but surely it's been creeping in to where we're getting a little bit more handling errors. I mean, Seattle is Seattling right now in full display for everyone to see. I'm very happy to be warm in the booth. I'm very happy to be warm in the booth.
The rain is not creeping anymore. It's scaring people. It's out in full attire. As we see the ball now starting to make its way down into the deck more often. McGrath ends up pushing a kick around the corner. Dombrowski tries to come across. She keeps the ball in with the kick and almost makes a tackle on Ocean. With the number 15, that's Owens, as she comes in to try and corral that player down. And now the Natives will be off to the attack. They're at right around the 40. We see Harrison call them off as the All-Stars are trying to work their way in. They've got some space to move it out to the right if they can. Looks like all of the All-Stars are on that far right side. Tornado's calling for people to come across. They use the boot yet again. Try and force Jordan to make another knock on. Jordan looks like she might have, but looks like there's a player down over on the far left side. They continue to play on. Ball ends up going back behind. Taupa'o puts on the pressure. Pins them back yet again. It looks like they're over top of that ball.
She knocked it on.
Put a knock on with the turnover.
She was tackled and knocked it on.
Gives the Natives the ball back.
Absolutely. Being honest, the weather might be the best thing to happen for the WPL with such a large lead that they had. It allows them to hold the lead with handling errors happening left and right and left. As you see, the rain has completely taken over the pitch. Both teams look as though they know they're going to deal with this at least for the next 12 minutes to finish out this game. Both teams drenched in not only the rainwater that's hitting them, but also ambition to try to get into the try zone, try to get more points on the board. Both teams are fighting hard, but this weather is really affecting how both teams play deeper into this second half.
They've got a lot of meters left to go. The Natives are pinned all the way down in this end, about 22 meters outside of the try zone. They've got a lot of ground to make up here as we're into the last 12 minutes of this All-Star game. Scrum is now underway. It looks like they almost get stood up, but they're able to field it at the back cleanly. A dummy keeps it within play, but the number 19, that's Castillo, she gets over top of that ball. Owens is there to help her clean it up. But it looks like she gets called for off her feet. Harrison holds up the arm. And so now the natives will get to breathe a little bit and try and see if they can make their way out of this end still. The number 10 gives it to a big runner, ready to go and set, puts Hayward down. Number 5, Sanford, cleans up that tackle. The number 10 is set to go ahead and move it. The rain is really coming down, so they're going to have to be careful with these passes. They're coming in over the top. Harrison calls it off. They've got some room to work with to the left, a cut back inside, but that pressure, but that short pass ends up getting them a little bit more real estate there. McGrath tries to get over that ball. Sanford comes over to put the pressure on as well. But somehow, some way, the natives keep the ball and they get some more meters. They're continuing to press on. Talfo'o tries to get her hand on the ball. She's unsuccessful. The number 1, the big runner, gets her way up and over the 50 now. They've got some room to work it to the right. They cut back inside. Jordan tosses her to ground. The natives now patient, trying to build up a little bit of momentum. Some footwork is used. Talfo'o gets her hands in, rips it away, and Jax is all over it. Claire tries to go up for a chip kick. Turns into a grubber due to the rain, but she cleans it up well. Starts the brigade for the counter ruck. We'll see the natives come up on top, continuing to press on after releasing it multiple times.
She is amazing.
She now is brought down. That was an amazing skill set from the natives. They get a taste of that match, and now they're going to continue to trek on. A chip kick through now leads to Owens being a little bit isolated. Pressure comes in way too hot, but she bounces it backwards and fields it. Trying to move it away from the pressure area. They move it to the left, but Sanford cuts back inside. Harrison calling for them to release and to get on sides. Counter ruck is coming in from the All-Stars, and there's a lot of pressure on the kick. It goes back. We see a player down, though, for the natives on this right-hand side. Still continuing to try and slice through this defense is the natives. They've got to regroup, though, about 50 meters back from where the ball was. Number 1, she's been ball hungry all game. She's brought to ground. It's a little bit bobbled, and that gives enough time for Hayward to come up and give a massive leg drive tackle.
Thank you, 18.
WPL All-Star trying to wiggle their way out from underneath that breakdown. Another box kick goes up. There's some space, though. Owens loses it. Gets it to the number 23. This looks like a promising pickup for her. She picks it up, and she's about 22 meters out. The natives, they've got to work hard here. The number 9 works it to the number 25, who's there for that looping play. And they get set now. Massive soccer skills coming in for the natives. Finding some creative ways to make their way down towards the try zone. And now they're going to use that pick and go in that latch, their bread and butter. Now well over the 22. Then they get driven back into the 22 with big hits from the All-Stars. Everybody gets set and low. Tong comes in. And maintains that leg drive. She's got her partner in crime. That's Talfo'o. Talfo'o comes in and tries to corral that ball in. There's a little bit of some disconnect around the hinge, and we see a warning come about. They continue to play on, though. The number 24, she gets her body over top of ball, and Harrison will go ahead and call it for a not releasing penalty against the natives, and that kills all that forward momentum that they had going.
Absolutely, and she was waiting for her opportunity. If we've seen, she's been trying to get her hands on the poach all day, and right at the nick of time, just outside the 5-meter line of the natives, getting the turnover for her team, getting up off the ground, helping as a tackler, showing that release, and she is over the ball. native player trying her absolute best to clear her out, but she is not letting go of that. And WPL All-Stars with an opportunity right now to clear their lines, get some space, and relieve pressure.
All-Stars now with the throw-in, but because of these really wet conditions, the ball goes short. So now the natives will have the time to go ahead and attack out. Ball ends up getting knocked on. There's an infringement, though, that happened here. Harrison brings up the hand. We've got a little over 5 minutes left to go in the second half for the All-Star game. Looks like we have a possible substitute who came in, trying to take it right into the All-Stars high, especially against that number 24, is not the vibe, but they're able to maintain possession here. The number 1 trying to inch her way over. About 5 meters outside of this try zone yet again. It would mean nothing more for them to get some points on the board here. 29-12 with the All-Stars leading. They still stay in this match. The natives are pummeling their way around that hinge. We see the low body height from the All-Stars trying to work their way lower. Still, though, the natives end up with it. They're almost over the line. Referee says it's short, so they play on. They dive at ankles. Harrison holds up the hand. It's another try for the natives.
So let's look at the math right now. This try with a conversion will make it 19-29. In less than 5 minutes, are the natives good enough to put up 2 tries in a 5-minute span? They've shown flashes. And here, look at the leg drive. Look at the team cohesion. Players latching on, driving through. And that allows a space right here where the ball presents itself. And a player who's the first woman attached to the ruck reaches between her legs, pulls the ball through. Since there was no one attached to her, she is now just standing there. And what a great awareness. And it seems like the native players have this awareness and understanding. We've seen it earlier with number 7 falling and picking the ball back up 4 or 3 consecutive times. And now you've seen the awareness around the try line to establish herself, knowing that no one's attached to her. There is no ruck for her to be a part of. She can pick the ball up if necessary. She did just that, added 5 points for the native side. And with this conversion, cut the lead to 10, which makes this match an absolute flip from what it was when the first half ended, excuse me.
It goes up. Looks like it's going to veer to the left, though, so that'll keep our score 29-17. We've got about less than 2 minutes to go according to our clock. Actually, less than a minute to go according to the one-up for Starfire Sports Stadium. So we'll see what referee Harrison has to say about it. But Lance, the natives, I mean, their performance here in the second half, that halftime conversation, it means the world to a lot of players. So Savage probably told them exactly what to do and to stick to the basics, and they've demonstrated it. But Stolba's a smart coach for the All-Stars. We'll probably see some decision-making really having to be at the forefront for these All-Stars, as we see the number 1 just bully her way over that line. She gets a good leg drive about 10 meters out, and so her partner will also get some taste of that leg drive. The All-Stars losing the body height contest here. They come up on the launch. Taufo'o gets her hands on the ball and intercepts that pass. That's the 3rd intercept pass for the natives. They come in and try and redeem themselves for it. The defensive launch coming in. The hard leg drive from both sides. Finally finds the ball to deck. Massive low hit, though, comes in for the native. She offloads it to Spafford. Spafford is taken to ground, though. And they've driven the All-Stars back about 10 meters as they get into the hands of McGrath. McGrath tries to get it to foul. She's unsuccessful, but she's able to field it back into the hands. Hayward tries to work her way around that defense, but the defense holds strong. They fold well, and they launch well. Absolutely smothering the ball is the natives as they continue to go ahead and make their way right up into the faces of the All-Stars. Continuing to fold over to the left as there is numbers. Tordenado moves it to McGrath. McGrath is straight with that run. They now make it into the 40, and Hayward moves it to Dombrowski. Dombrowski ends up right back in the same spot as McGrath. They've got some space to work it out to the left, but wet conditions. We'll see what they can find. Tordonato gets it to McGrath. McGrath keeps it, tries to get it around. The number 19 tries to kick it through. Tafo'o is there with Jordan. Jordan tries to chip kick it through.
30 seconds.
But she's unsuccessful there, so it looks like that'll be a line out going in favor of the Natives. It's about 30 meters outside of that try zone.
Black ball. Okay.
As we've seen again and again, the interceptions
Last play.
have
Final
laid
play.
the story for today's game. 2 tries off of interceptions, and just when the Natives had an opportunity with short time to maybe get down the field, maybe put more pressure and add more points, another interception by the WPL All-Stars have all but sealed the deal. We're looking at less than 20 seconds left in this game with the WPL All-Stars up 12 points, all but over, but the Natives have not stopped fighting, have not
Don't
stopped
go up
putting
early,
in
don't
work.
pump fake. We'll just do it again.
And the ref is saying he's resetting because of the early jump from the WPL and the double pump from the hooker on the throw in, giving him another opportunity.
Back from
The
red.
Ball goes
WPL
up.
All-Stars with a steal. Good job.
And the All-Stars, they're going to go ahead and steal that line out, and they'll get set for, it looks like, pick and goes. They just have to maintain possession for less than a minute here in order to really solidify their win. 29-17, they're on top, but the Natives have some more gas in them yet, and they've got these big hitters that'll come in and swarm over top. Tordonato, though, she's going to quickly get to ground when she's ready. Tong now tries to work it around, gets it to the number 19, who gives a fend of her own. The number 19 is still going forward. She's about a meter short. Will they answer with a final try? The number 24, the turnover queen, she tries to work her way over that line. She's just short as well, about a meter outside. Can the All-Stars get a final try in? They pick and go against the Natives. More forwards, though, are coming in. Number 24 tries to get low. The Natives recognize the knock-on. It's a valiant defensive effort, but Harrison will go to the whistle. And that'll conclude our Seattle All-Star game between the WPL All-Stars and the Native. But your Women's Premier League All-Stars are the winners of this match, 29-17. Lance, what can we say about what we just saw in women's rugby?
Hey, welcome to Pretty rude.
We just saw
Pretty rude.
phase play of a level that's rarely seen. There were so many open play moments. We're talking 2, 3, 4 minutes of ball in play, continuous fighting back and forth. Both teams very closely matched, but these explosive plays that happen in the first half are the difference. WPL not being able to add any more points in the second half, but that first half cushion did the job for them. If we look back and recap the tries of this game, skills were on full display, Darian. Skills on full display. You want to see good rugby? You want to see amazing rugby, skillful rugby? Look no further than WPL All-Star versus the New Zealand Natives, because this kick right here off of the left, the bounce, the gather, the grounding, high caliber. Even the referee had to double take, asked the assistant, sir, did I just see that right? Did we just see magic? And the interception, bouncing off of tackles, finding the inside offload, Jade sliding in the score. And this first half action really determined the game because the Natives became a different beast in the second half. Major opportunities. And Darren, we watched amazing rugby, and I'm happy to see it. I'm proud to be a part of it.
Here in Seattle at the Starfire Stadium complex, you just watched the WPL All-Stars take it away. A couple of big thank yous, though, to our sponsors, the Chicago Hounds Rugby, the Can-Am Rugby, and then the Women's Coach and Referee Association. Also, a big shout out to the teams, the coaches, and the players, as well as the players on the WPL All-Star to make it happen. Dombrowski and Gilberg, you guys are always the best. You're better than the rest. We've got a couple administrators to go ahead and shout out. They know who they are, behind the scenes people, as well as our Next Level Rugby crew. Ryan Ginty, again, we're finishing up with some Veterans Day celebrations as well. Make sure you thank your friends who have put it out on the line for you. Lance Kavanaugh, Great American Rugby founder, bringing all the power to the players. My name is Darian Lovelace. Thanks for rocking and rolling with us here for this WPL All-Star Game. Until next time, team.